the grease pig. And for small days when you want a high performance board, but your regular good waves high performance board just ain't cutting it because you can't get it up and going to really utilize its strengths, then, and on the other hand, you don't want to ride, you know, something real retro. You don't really want to ride, you know, real bulby type of board, because you want that real, you know, tight in the pocket, quick reaction time of a high performance board. That's where the grease pig fills that gap. It's a really fun little board. For me, it makes me feel like a better surfer than I am in certain conditions where it's real grovelly. This thing's got jets under it. It feels like that you don't have to be grasping for speed. You just get going right off the gun. And so to break it down, what it's got a real similar, you know, outline to a performance board. It's just kind of blown out a little bit. So you go a little bit wider, you go about, you know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch wider than your regular board. The nose is about a 1/2 inch wider than your regular board. Tail's about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch wider. And so by going with a wider outline, oh, and you drop it down too. You drop the length down, you know, about 3-4 inches. And that's because on small waves, you don't want a bunch of board in front of you. You want to try to crunch that board down a little bit, because the canvas you're drawing on, it's small waves, so you want a smaller board to draw on a smaller canvas. So that's the concept with when you're crunching the board down. And by adding more width in the nose and tail areas, you're creating more planing speed, and you're creating more lift. And so in small waves, more lift means more drive, more speed, and speed's the key in small waves. You don't want to have to rely on, you know, the pocket of the wave generating the speed for you. You got to rely more on the board, getting the kind of the guts of the board, getting things going for you. And so that's what the grease pig does. And you'll see it's got like a winger in here, or a stinger, I call it. And this stinger, since you got real wide outline in the tail, wide outline planes real quick down the line, but sometimes you lose a little bit of that redirectional rail to rail speed in turning. And so in order for it to go quick rail to rail, you put a little brake right here, releases the water, brings the outline in right near where your front fins are. So when you're turning off your front fins, you still get that, you know, you get that wide tail effect and that lateral speed, but you also get the benefits of kind of a narrower tail. It lets the water break off of this little pivot point, and where your fins are, where you're turning off of, your fins are pivoting around, and the water is also releasing here, and it's kind of a narrower tail and a wide tail in one. So you get that pivot and redirect of a performance board to turn real tight in the pocket, but you also got the wider for the carry speed through the flats. And then typically put a swallowtail on these, although I also do this as a more subtle of a kind of a wing rather than or a hip instead of this, you know, distinct wing, and a wide squash tail too. I've actually been doing some more of those in Japan. They really like them like that, and those are really fun boards too, real snappy. This is a little bit looser with the swallowtail because it releases the water out of your tail block. So when you're pushing on that tail, since you got extra width back there, you want to be able to release that water out. And the rocker on this thing, pretty flat throughout. It, you know, real low entry to get into the waves early. That's key in small waves, because if you don't get in early and get going quick, the wave's usually over, because usually small waves are shorter rides anyways. So you want to get in, get going quick, and have speed to burn.